All right, everyone, it is Taco Tuesday. Going to be touching on all the top prop bets to pair with each taco. Let's go ahead and get into it. So looking at right off the bat, we can see the best one that we're going to get right now is going to be Jazz for over 0.5 total bases. Since he's returned from injury, he has been, the same old player. Let's just put it that way. So not a terrible one that we're getting there. And then really from there, we are seeing that the lines are going to be extremely tight. We could potentially go with a WNBA prop as well. That's popping up here on the cheat sheet. I don't like the fact that she's projected to get 7.8. So very tight lines. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the hitting fantasy score props because I think those are going to be the ones that we're going to go in on the most. But really, the best one that we have is going to be Christian Yelich here for over 7.5 for a fantasy score. But look at it, guys. Very much Vegas is saying that he's going to get the under. Now, the under would be at 10.28. Okay, so still vastly over that number, but obviously, we don't love that. And then just looking at his projection, 10.7. So still going to be a good one. Still probably going to be the best prop bet that we have available on the day. Then we can see from there, like we don't have terrible ones. We have two players, Juan Soto and Mookie Betts, that are actually kind of heavily favored with their overs to get over, with the Vegas line, but not crazy with those ones. Pete Alonso, Alvarez, we could do. Like, these are all okay. Like, if at the end of the day, these ones are still available, and they're the best ones that we still have available when the afternoon and when the evening tacos come out, by all means, we could go ahead and use those ones. And then just real quickly, we'll go ahead and take a peek at the discrepancies that we have right now. Nothing. Like, it's a very, very tight board today. And so it might be one of those rare situations where I might do more of, like, I typically tell people to do 5 individual bets with each taco. That way we're kind of just making sure that we're going to have a profitable day each and every day when it's Taco Tuesday, especially in the long term. I might just go heavy on Christian Yelich. We'll see. Fingers are crossed there. But then again, it is week 1, guys, and we are starting to get a lot of props. And we finally got the fantasy score props as well. Now, what I want to be doing is I want to be doing some stacks, okay? And right now, what we only have is going to be that Detroit game. So I really don't want to run out stacks just yet for that game. Now, I would say one you could do would be like Jared Goff for over fantasy score with ASB. But I don't love that. Another interesting one to me would actually be maybe potentially Sky Moore for under, which a lot of people would probably disagree with. But that really just depends on the status and how many snaps someone, like if Kadarius Toney is healthy and active, it's tough for me to imagine seeing Sky Moore get, 3 catches for 60 yards or 6 catches or, anything like that. Now, sure, he can score a touchdown. He is expected to be more involved, but I do expect Toney to be the receiver number 1 in that offense. So very much one of those situations where it depends on the status of the player. And all these just seem to be a little bit too high for my liking. Like, I would maybe want to do the unders for those. But let's just talk about some stacks I like for week 1. If you guys watch my props video, you already probably know what I was looking at for those. But I don't mind like Justin Herbert stacking with Keenan Allen. Another one that I don't mind is actually looking at Trevor Lawrence stacked with Calvin Ridley. Like, if Trevor Lawrence is getting that many yards, I do think Calvin Ridley is going to be a big factor in that. So not a terrible idea there as well. And the reason why I want to do stacks with the tacos is if a quarterback is getting his over passing yards, more than likely we can figure out which receiver it's going to be and go from there. And then just real quickly, when we look at the Odds Jam optimizer as well, remember I'm partnering with them. If you guys want access to their tools, links to that's in the description below. You get 25% off if you use the promo code numbers 925. But looking at, we can see Richie James, and I like this one a decent amount. Richie James is a very interesting type of bet because I feel like it goes along the lines of if Toney's healthier, if Toney is active, like Vegas is expecting, then it's tough for me to imagine Richie James being that involved in the offense. They have MVS, they would have Sky Moore, Travis Kelce, the other tight ends, their running backs. I like Richie James as a talent, don't get me wrong. And he has been someone that's casually on some hype, but this would be the one where I would say we could probably bet the under on. I feel pretty good about that, but it is situation. And then for me, that's the ones that I like the most. Now, you guys can see all the other ones here. If you guys want to go in and use those with the tacos, by all means, go ahead and do that. And guys, just real quickly, I do want to touch on some of these pitching fantasy score props that we have as well, because we are getting a lot of these as like under bets that we could potentially be using. I don't like doing that too much. And maybe the only one would be Garrett Cole for under. I don't love those too much, so I probably won't be doing that. All right, so directly showing you guys my bets of the day. So what I'm looking at is I do like this first stack. So we could do Clayton Kershaw, obviously taking the taco for the over, and then just pairing it up with this Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley stack. Now, guys, if you're saying I actually think you're going to struggle, do the exact opposite. You could bet lower then, okay? To me, I like the matchup against Indy. I think it's a game that Jacksonville's going to win. Thus, I want to be on a little bit of the stack. I think Trevor Lawrence hopefully will be a little bit more accurate, but I think it'll be more accurate. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I think where Calvin Ridley succeeds the most with his route tree is where Trevor Lawrence succeeds the most as well. So I like that combo. And then obviously we're going to go with Christian Yelich, time in and time again. If we just trust these hitting fantasy score props, the ones that have, they're just the easiest to hit this season. I mean, this is why we had such a good August, right? Like we missed 5 prop bets total in August on Taco Tuesday. And that was while giving out 2 5-slip bets and 2 6-slip bets. So that's 17 for 22 on Taco Tuesday. A lot of that is due to props like the hitting fantasy score props that are hitting. It's unfortunate that we only have one really good prop bet for that. And then once again, with this Richie James prop, it's one of the best prop bets that we have available on the day today. This is coming from OddsJam. So if you guys want to, check out their optimizer, use the promo code 925. The number is 925 when you sign up. This very much correlates with Tony being out or not playing a full allotment of snaps, not even playing like 20% of the snaps. Okay. Then someone like Sky Moore would actually make a lot of sense for the over fantasy score. So I was kind of hoping that we'd actually get some Tony props out there. We don't have that because obviously we can make some educated decisions, some correlated prop bets. If that comes available throughout the day, obviously you guys can go ahead and use that to your advantage. Like if we're betting less for Richie James, we'd probably bet over for Tony if it was like 40 yards or something. I don't know. And then Sky Moore, if you think Tony's not going to play that much, bet less fantasy score if it was 9 points, considering that Sky Moore's is 9 points, and then you could bet over for Sky Moore. And then just 2 more real quick. I did want to stack Ryan Tannehill with DeAndre Hopkins or Treylon Burks, depending on the prop line. I do think 205 in that matchup with the Saints is going to be an interesting number. I do think that this game might be a little bit higher scoring than people think. I think Tannehill might be forced to throw a little bit more. We have Derek Carr. On the flip side of that, who's going to be highly motivated to play well. Then you have Ryan Tannehill with a much better offense this year. 205 seems like a very, very low number for him in a game that I think is going to be a shootout. Once again, I wish I could stack that with Hopkins in some capacity. They don't have that available. And then lastly, the Jazz prop here, over 0.5 base. Not exactly a 54% chance to hit, which is kind of the magic number that we always want to reach when we are doing EV-based bets, but 53.8 is good enough. He is someone that I just kind of trust as well. We'll see if that comes down. And I don't like that, I guess. The Kershaw and Jazz, that doesn't correlate too heavily there. That's unfortunate. You know what's going to happen? Jazz is going to strike out twice to ensure this hits, but he's also going to get a hit. That's what's going to happen. Let's make that happen. All right, that's going to be all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did, make sure to give a like and subscribe. If you want access to my cheat sheet, head over to 9to5sports.com. Click the link in the description below. All right, let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.